All right, we are recording. Welcome back to the Podium Finish of the Podium Finish Live. I'm Nathan Solomon, and I have a very special guest with me here today, driver of the number 21 Ford Mustang in the NASCAR Cup Series, Matt DiBenedetto. Matt, thanks for coming on today. How are you, man?
Doing excellent. How about you, brother?
I'm great. So just before we get into everything racing related, I kind of want to learn a little bit more about who you are and for our listeners to know more about you. So, what do you like to do outside of NASCAR? I know that you're a very physically active person. So what else do you enjoy doing?
Yes, so I love, I have a passion for fitness. So I love working out, functional weightlifting and stuff. So my wife and I work out together. We're super blessed to have a home gym that we just got. So that's really fun. We enjoy that together. The simple things like playing with my dog Brian here, who's actually sitting right next to me chilling. So we're pretty low key. And then, aside from that, I love helping people in general and kind of sharing my faith story and things like that. So over the off season, probably be involved in some church oriented things to help spread some good messages to folks.
Awesome, awesome. So let's start talking a little bit about 2021 here. Three top fives, nine top tens. Obviously, there's two races left, but how would you grade your season so far?
Yeah, I think we had a really rough start to the season, and then we were making some headway, and we made a crew chief change midway through the season to Jonathan Hassler, who took over our team. And really, it doesn't mean one person, like Greg Irwin was our crew chief and super appreciative for him and what he did. Doesn't mean one person's bad and one's good or anything. It's about the relationship. It's no different than your relationship with your friends or your wife or whatever it is. And, Hassler and I clicked immediately, and our whole team really clicked. And we clicked off, six races in a row where our worst finish was 11th, and we were top 10 in them to death, still needing that little bit of speed. Everyone would probably say the same thing, beat the Hendrick cars. but yeah, so we were, really clicked. And so the second half of the season have been strong, had a lot of really good speed, things like that. And just, but again, really want to get that win. Been so close and have just fallen a little short on that tiny last bit of speed to be up there for the win, but have been so close so many times.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about Hendrick, and of course, there's the parts freeze for, this season. How difficult has it been, like trying to keep up with Hendrick?
Big time, because that's the thing is I feel like I've come out of most all the races and say I'm a little bit of a broken record. I'm like, well, we had a car that could no problem run 5th to 10th, and we can top 10 like crazy. We can always run in that, or not always, but most of the time run in that 5th to 10th area as long as the race goes smoothly and we don't have any issues. That's where we have stacked up, and maybe some, we can run up there in the top 5 if we really execute perfect. But just missing that last little bit, and again, it's hard to make those gains. There's not a whole ton of development. The box is pretty tight of what you can do and what you can work on. So, but we have been making little gains, and the team's been trying super hard, and we've been really aggressive. At Kansas and Michigan, we were trying something aggressive, and it worked, and we were really fast there. I think we finished 4th or something like that. But we're racing for the lead at times. It was really good. But then we tried something similar at Kansas, and it backfired, and we really struggled all day. But it's because we're being so aggressive trying to get that last little bit and win one of these things.
And on a note of the crew chief change, like you mentioned, you switched to Jonathan Hassler after Sonoma. Why did you want Hassler to be your new crew chief, and why has it worked so well?
Yeah, it's just all kind of personalities and the confidence in calling the race, and the relationship is what's the most important thing. You got to have the confidence in each other. And when I am telling him what the car's doing, just not questioning anything that he does and what adjustments he's making, just letting him do his job. So you have to have that relationship and that trust. And that's where it clicked really well with us ever since the first time we worked together. So that's been great, man. Ever since he's come on board, it's been excellent for our team. Doesn't mean one guy's bad and one's good. Like I said, it's just it's another thing that shows how important every single person is around you on your team. And I relate it to football a lot because I tell people it's no different at all than a football team. It's just a little easier to see in a football field, but our sport's no different than the quarterback being nothing without his receivers running their routes, his offensive linemen blocking for him, the defense doing their job, his head coach calling the right plays and calls, and all the coaches and all the training that goes into it, and the practice and the preparation. It's the exact same for NASCAR. It's just a little harder to see, and it just shows how, how much those people around you, how much of a team sport it is. And your pit crew, you're nothing without those guys. They make or break your entire race. So it's truly a team sport.
I like the football analogy. I've never heard of that one before.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way to compare to it. So you've had several notable races over the last 3 seasons, which you almost won. Running up front the 2019 Daytona 500, of course the Bristol Night Race, and then most recently a couple races at Talladega. So how do you remain positive through all that defeat?
Yeah, man, it's been such a crazy story. We've come so close so many times, so much heartbreak, and finishing second, coming so close. It's crazy that it's been that way. But again, what keeps my perspective in check is my faith. So my relationship with the Lord, and understanding just a perspective on life that I honestly, at your age, wish I had known. That's what has changed my life, to where you have an understanding of knowing that life is bigger than racing, and also I'm all in what I do, and you want win and want these things so bad, and I will die trying, and hopefully we get it one of these last 2 races. But at the end of the day, I got to remember that life is bigger than us driving in circles for a living, and to also know that my plan and what I want, it isn't always what is the plan that happens, or what is meant to be. So I just keep it all in check, work as hard as I can, and life here isn't perfect, and you just got to roll with it and make the most of it, and be appreciative for for the obstacles that we have, when in other places, in other countries, people are battling things that they would do anything to deal with these endeavors that we do. So just having life in perspective is what helps.
Absolutely. And to get to where you are right now with the Wood brothers, you climbed through the ranks of driving for some underfunded teams. How have your experiences with BK Racing, Archie Say Hilaire, and Levine Family Racing bettered you as a race car driver?
Oh, 100%. They've bettered me as a race car driver, and as a person in general too. Keeping you humble, and knowing how to work with all the guys around you, and having to always make the most of what you're driving, has been kind of what I've had to do over the last handful of years. Is always really overachieving in small team situations, and getting the most out of all your guys, and being a good positive energy for those folks, so we can work hard and through those struggles that the smaller teams had. So it's really shaped me and who I am, and taught me a lot. And I wouldn't change my path for anything of how I've gotten here, because it's taught me so much going about it that way, and having drive for the different smaller teams and seeing the struggles on that front. And it makes you a better person and a better driver.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty for you beyond this season. Since the announcement in July, how difficult has it been for you to focus on 2021?
Surprisingly, not difficult at all. I was actually kind of glad that I knew early, like in July. So I was appreciative that they let me know early. So really, actually, it helped you folks. Like, okay, I don't have to sit wondering what am I doing. You just knew, and then I can work on stuff for next year, and then be just focused on trying to win for the Wood brothers, and that's it. So it actually that's not an answer that some people would maybe expect, but yeah, I looked at it, and that aspect was just appreciative that I could work on that stuff and just focus on, well, we have no other goal other than just winning.
Of course. And then what has your opportunity with Ford, Team Penske, and the Wood brothers meant to you? What can you take away from these last 2 seasons?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a roller coaster of emotion, and a lot of hard work, and trying to get the team to where we needed to be. And we did finally get it there, the second half of the season. So that it was hard. The sport's hard, and it takes everybody. And so that part was difficult, that it took, a while for us to get it to where our 21 team needed to be, for us to be executing and stepping our game up a little. And we did. And so that's been awesome. But I'm appreciative for the relationship with Ford. Our alliance with Team Penske is great. And also I'm a big car guy, so I love being able to share all my car stuff. And with my, my Ford vehicles, I've owned a ton of Mustangs, GT350, all kinds of things. And then on the Wood Brothers front, they are family for life. That's the coolest thing in the world. It doesn't matter that I'm not driving for them at the end of this year. They are family, truly family forever. And they are such good people that they make you want to be a better human being. And I'm thankful for the couple of years I've driven for them, because I've gained them as family for the rest of my existence.
Yeah, and then your teammates Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney. What are they meant to you?
Yeah, great people, and they all bring a different dynamic. So I'll go to each of them for different aspects of advice, and so so they've been a big help, and really they helped me with mostly, I would say, asking questions about with our alliance with Team Penske, asking more questions about, hey, what's the right way to approach this? Or when we were, going through this crew chief change thing, really just going through, hey, how do I approach these things right within the team? And so actually a little more business oriented type stuff. And so I'd say who I'm closest with or I have the best friendship with would be Ryan Blaney. We just get along really well. So it's been awesome to be able to work with those guys.
Of course, nothing announced for you at this point for 2022, but you see kind of the route that someone like John Hunter Nemechek or AJ Allmendinger's gone on. They went to a lower series to try to get their careers, I guess, back on track, if you will. Have you ever thought about maybe going on a similar route?
I thought about this, and at a point I was like, man, I really want to stay in Cup, which of course anybody does. That's the end goal. But I had to humble myself and be like, hey, I need to pump the brakes here and be open to everything, because again, I don't know what the plan's meant to be. So I became open to everything, whatever series it is, whatever opportunity is meant to be. That's where I just had to humble myself and be open to all of it and see what's meant to be. So I don't really have I don't put my needs first. I just kind of work as hard as I can to figure out what's going to meant to be, and that's what's going to happen. So again, yeah, seeing what AJ's done, he's like a brother to me, and seeing what John Hunter's done and things, that's why I don't get too spun out about whatever happens moving forward, because I know it'll work out how it's meant to.
You just mentioned AJ there. What is that relationship with AJ? How did you become friends with AJ? How does your relationship, I guess, blossomed over the NASCAR years?
Yeah, AJ's the best, man. He is truly like a brother to me. It was just from at the racetrack and driver intros and talking, and we just clicked immediately because he's such a fun personality, and he gives me a hard time about my weightlifting and stuff. And I'd always just grab him and pick him up and stuff when he's at his car, or if he was with sponsors at his car, I'd go just mess with him. So we just have that relationship, like literally like brothers, and we talk to each other a bunch. And so so really it was just from at the track, and we got to know each other. Then we, hung out outside the racetrack and just became excellent friends, because he's a very genuine, humble guy. Him and his wife, Tara, definitely his better half, is the nicest, most upbeat, fun human being in the world. So they're just really great friends of ours.
That's perfect timing to hear. We just had AJ and Tara both on podium finish in the podium finish live. So that's cool to hear. And finally, how gratifying would a victory at Martinsville or Phoenix be as you move on to another chapter in your career?
Oh man, it'd be everything. That'd be a heck of a way to finish out the season for us. We want it so bad. I mean, in my career, I finished every position in the field from second through 40th, and second multiple times. So just really want to check off that last one, especially, any race. I don't care where it is. But Martinsville coming up would be so special because it's a home race for the Wood Brothers, one of my favorite racetracks that we go to. So really, really, really hoping and putting all effort in to get that in these last two races, and hoping that's in the cards, because we're going to go all effort into it.
Great. Well, Matt, I believe that's all the time we have with you today. Thank you for coming on for the chat, and best of luck to you here these last two races and whatever's next for you in 2022.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.